Hello everyone, this is my second tutorial on After Effects animation. I got a lot of feedback from the previous tutorial, and a lot of people asked me to explain each step in more detail. Therefore, today I will try to tell about everything in more detail. Also, I improved the production of the tutorial itself a little bit, so I hope you will be happy with it. Well, today I want to show an animation which has gained 329,000 views on Instagram, almost 25,000 likes, although it is very simple. But my creative idea and music played the main role here. So I'm going to show you how you can make a cool animation with music that will keep your audience's attention and can bring you a lot of followers. This animation brought me around 4,000 followers. Well, let's get started. First, we need to create our composition. You can see my composition settings. Click OK, done. Now we need to create our background. Click the right mouse button, New, Solid, choose the color black. Then we will also need a white color. By the way, if you notice when I press any keys on the keyboard, for example, Ctrl+Z, you see them at the top of your screen. I hope that will help you understand tutorial even more. I hope you will like it. We need to add our music because we will make the animation up to the music beat, and not put the music when the animation is already there. This is very important so that you have all the movements pretty much in sync and it will look cool. For music, as I said, I always use Element Envato. I think it's the best service for music and sound effects. So if you want cool music and cool sound effects, I'll leave a link below this video. You can sign up and use this service. Well then, let's add some music. Let's open our waveform. We need to select a part. There will be such an accent. That's it. You can see him immediately from the waveform. I think that's it. Now let's start the animation. At the beginning, we have a white background coming out from below. If you press P, the position feature will appear. And now I want to quickly explain how keyframes works in After Effects in general. When you click on the stopwatch icon, you create a keyframe. On the timeline, you also have seconds 0, 1, and so on. If you also place a keyframe here, another one will be created. But since they are now the same, nothing happens. But for example, if you're in this keyframe, this position, select your layer and, for example, move down. In this keyframe, it will be at the bottom. So when you hit the spacebar now, you'll see what happens. An animation will take place. That is, After Effects moves this layer from the start keyframe to this end keyframe. This is the base on which all animation in After Effects works. For example, if you do something right here in the middle with this layer, like this, a new keyframe will automatically be created and will have the following. That is, After Effects moves this layer to this. And hopefully this brief explanation will give you an idea of how keyframes work. Let's go back to our stuff. From the bottom, the white layer begins to move, but here it should only be halfway. Therefore, if you have the snapping checkbox enabled, you can easily bind it. If it is turned off, then it will not work. Okay, I like it, but I don't like the linear motion. So we'll choose keyframes, we'll make easy, and we'll work with speed graphs. To do this, we need to click on the graph editor icon, and we see our graph. If you select this frame and drag the slider, you will get something like this. Now the animation. That's pretty drastic, I'll take it back. A little bit I will adjust it differently. Now we need, if you remember, to draw our rectangle. To do this, we select the rectangle tool, select the color white and just draw our rectangle. Here we have it, we can move our anchor point to the center of our shape. Here we have our rectangle that we will use for the delve in this layer, and also to animate the morphing of the circle into a rectangle. We'll leave this here for our future animation. Extend our layer, call it circle morphing, duplicate Ctrl plus D and call it black rectangle. Let's place it. Here we need a little bit, yes, great. And let's make the color black. We have here our delve, but it doesn't move with the white layer right now, so we just need to bind this black rectangle to our white layer. It's done simply. We have to click on the parent icon and pull on the white layer. And now when the white layer animates, our black rectangle will also move. But it's very important to parent when we're on the last keyframe of the white layer, because if you, for example, parent now at the beginning, then you'll see that our black rectangle moves in such a way that this doesn't happen. We have to parent it in the last keyframe or anywhere after it. That is, it will work as well. Okay, we will unfold our waveform so that it is convenient to see where the beat of the music changes. At this point we have. This will be the morphing of our circle into a rectangle. But we went the other way. To do this, in order for us to do this morphing, we will use path as a function of our shape. Therefore, when you have selected shape, in the search, you can write path and you will see rectangle path. We will use size, that is, we create a keyframe at this moment when we already have a rectangle. But before that, we must have a circle. Therefore, we put a keyframe. Here, write the same value for x as for y. Here is our square. And in order to create a circle, we will also use roundness. So here we have to put a keyframe. There is also a keyframe, and here simply the value 100, and we will get a circle. Now you see the animation of the circle morphing into a rectangle looks great, but to make it go with the music, we're going to highlight our keyframes again, do an easy, and work with our graphs. Here I want a fairly sharp animation, so I'm making a fairly sharp graphic that will be at this very moment. We need to set up our keyframe so that it's in the middle of the beat of the music. Then it will be like that, and it will look cool. Let's see. Super. I like it. Well, we have our circle morphing into a rectangle, but before that, if you remember, at the beginning of the animation, the circle should be slightly below the center, so we're going to animate it now as well. For this, we will use position animation. We will create a keyframe at this moment, when our circle will already be at the top. But before that, at this beat, it should be here. And again, we need to work with keyframes to get everything up to the music beat. We select keyframes again, we can just press F9 easy. And again, we make a pretty sharp animation that will look cool to our music. Let's see. I like it. Now we need to bring our rectangle back here. Again, we use the position press. When we already have a stopwatch enabled, we need to add a new keyframe. Click here on this icon, and we add a new keyframe. This is where we'll be standing rectangle in this keyframe, and this is where will be our rectangle in the next keyframe. Again, we need to work with the graphs. To do this, we will open our graph settings and make a sharp again. Let's make a sharp one. Keyframes should be in the middle approximately up to the music beat. Let's see. Super. And one last point, we need to make a rectangle fade effect. We will hide our rectangle again. We are working with graphs again. It may not be so sharp. Yes, but you see, we have a little mismatch with the edges. To do this, at the moment when the white rectangle will enter the large white layer, I will take the small black to 0 in terms of opacity. In this, I put a keyframe here, and here our black will disappear. It will look something like this, but we can adjust the timing a little. so that everything was not so noticeable. This is much better. And now we need, if you remember, there was this multi-layer fade effect. To do this, I will duplicate our main layer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we will opacity each layer, do less each time. Here 80 here, 70 here, 60 here, 50 here, 40 here, 30 here, 20, and here 10. And we need to delay each layer to make everything look cool. Let's try this for an example. Looks pretty good, so I guess we can leave it at that. When these layers are gone, we can cut them all. To do this, we have to press Alt plus square brackets, and here our layers will be cut. For the animation to look cool, we have to make it loop. That is, the last frame should be like the first one, just with a black background and with our circle. Here, our white layer will move down again. At this point, we simply move down our white layer. We work again with graphics quite sharply to music. It'll be very cool. Super. And at this moment, when our white layer moves down, our circle should appear under it, so then the animation would be a loop. Therefore, we simply duplicate this layer. To remove all these keyframes, we can click the stopwatch again. Move to the end, put our layer right here, so that when the white layer goes down, our circle will appear from under it. That is, we added 2 keyframes and just moved it down at the beginning. We make easy F9, we work with speed graphs. I think we got a great animation. Let's look at it in an enlarged form. Looks cool. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. I tried to explain all my steps in enough detail. Write in the comments if it helped you learn something new and if you liked it. I will be very happy to hear from you which animation you would like to see in the next tutorials. Therefore, please drop a link from my Instagram in the comments to the animation you would like to see in the next tutorial videos. Thank you all for your attention. See you in the next videos.